And welcome once again to Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 28-year veteran writer, artist, and editor of comic, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role playing games. It's our usual Wednesday show. That means it's time to talk about what we got at the comic shop this week. But before we do that, I did have some extra reviews this week. I got behind. I'm trying to get caught up. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And before we do our usual thing, I have to go ahead and share the notice. And in accordance with the new copy regulations, this episode of Quote the Raven is intended for ages 16 up, while some of the content we will feature is kid friendly. The context of the episode is to address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is always the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. So, TV 16 and up. Let's go ahead and get into the reviews that I hadn't gotten to this week earlier. Lumen #1, Fallen Stars, $20, trade paperback. Publisher is Bounce House Books. Creator is Tony McMillan. Genre is supernatural mythological. Now, Tony was a guest on our show a couple weeks back, and we talked a little bit about this book, but I didn't actually have a copy of it. He graciously sent me a copy, and I received it, and I just finished reading it. And what it's about is Esteban struggles to survive a dark, mysterious world while chronicling the expected return of the legendary Vaquero Rubus Bramble, the hero who was supposed to last in the sun and bring it back to the world. The reason for that AWOL hero's quest is because Esteban lives in a world of eternal darkness, his journeys around this dystopia illuminated by a small lantern. As I said, Tony was a recent guest on the show a couple weeks back where we discussed other works of his, including Serious Creatures. And he did send me a copy of this, and I thank him kindly for the generosity. Esteban Ivella traverses this night world that's known as the Noctera when he sees what appears to be a falling star, but turns out to be a strange suit of armor with a skeleton occupant inside that turns to dust when Esteban removes the helmet. Could this be the legend Vaquero? Apparently so. Donning the armor himself, Esteban finds that the suit and the lantern that comes with it are fueled by lumen, which is a glowing substance that is the most precious commodity on this planet because not only does it bring light to a sunless world, but it also allows plants and other life to grow. With the power of the suit, Esteban makes his way through, it's supposed to say Noctera, pardon me about the typo there, as a scavenger and gets involved with a science witch named Detta, who enlists him on a heist to capture a lumen hoard located in a long abandoned southern castle. This castle has been left alone because besides the trove of lumen hidden in its walls, it also houses the one other thing that thrives in the dark of Noctera: fungi. A race of monstrous fungus creatures that prey on the few humans living in the dark of the new world. Side note, love the fungi play on words there. Very cute. This book was really quite a ride. McMillan is playing with a lot of fantasy tropes, and there's a lot of classic and modern fantasy writer influences here, including Frank L. Baum, Moya Matane, and Neil Gaiman. But he still manages to have his own voice. Artistically, the work is very Frank Miller, John Romita Jr., and Bill Sienkiewicz influenced. Not as polished as them, per se, but this is an early McMillan work, and he has the potential to go on a very similar path to those type of creators. I enjoyed this book very much, if not more than I did the Serious Creatures trade paperback, because it's more fantasy and more I guess you could say the artwork really fits the Maloo more than the kind of sort of pseudo-biographical book that Serious Creatures was. But we did talk about Serious Creatures at length with Tony in the interview a while back. That would be the roundtable discussion episode 2 from 2 weeks ago. This book is recommended for 13 and up, and I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let's take a look at some of the artwork. This is early in the storyline, and this red slash is the Vaquero Bramble falling from the sky and crashing to the ground, and then you see the little figure in the bottom of the center page. That's Esteban, and you can see kind of Esteban with the light on his face from the thing, and it kind of looks kind of sketchy, Sienkiewicz Sandman type looking type of dude there. And then it gets dark, and then he goes and finds the suit of armor. Overall, I do think it's really quite the title, and if you can find it on Tony's page, and let's see if I can find that page again. Well, actually, just go back and check the episode 2 interview with Tony. It has all the information on how to get not just Lumen, but Serious Creatures and his other forthcoming series, Attaboy, on that video. Okay. Our next book is Frank Thorne's Ribbit, hardcover $34.99 from Hermes Press. And my kitty is here to say hello to everyone. The writer-artist is Frank Thorne. The genre is fantasy, and I believe it was released sometime in 2020, but maybe sooner than that, or earlier than that, I should say. What it's about, well, this is a reprint of Frank Thorne's masterful blend of medieval sorcery and modern science fiction come together in another universe where only Ribbit, the warrior woman created by magic, and that's the smaller, shorter girl on the cover, the one with the green hair. I don't know if you can make it out on the cover or not. You should be able to. But anyway, she has to fight the final battle to save her world from the forces of chaos and darkness. This was originally created as an extended narrative in 4 comic books released by Comix in '89. And the entire narrative had never been reprinted as Thorne intended as one complete story until now. You'll notice that there are 3 dots there. Those are 3 asterisks because, well, I'll explain in a moment. Limited to a print run of 1,000 hardcovers, this graphic novel boasts the complete story in color as well as an interview with Frank Thorne, original art, and documentary materials, according to the solicitation. Now, first, let me say that any Frank Thorne book is awesome. Frank Thorne, in terms of his artwork, he's one of comics' greatest unsung talents. And I was looking forward to really reading this because I had seen Ribbit in terms of interviews with Frank in other places, specifically Comic Scene Magazine number 6 from 1989. And I could never find the comics that were disappeared. So I was really excited to see his collection. Unfortunately, I have to take great issue with Hermes Press. This is a long-awaited hardback collected edition, and I was expecting a lot more from them, considering the hefty price tag. For one thing, it's not complete. The covers done for the working titles Crystal Orb and Spawn of Sorcery are omitted. The interview is not new. It's from Hermes Press's Battling Beauties from 2017, which is a book that's so full of typos that Hermes must have cobbled the text together when the proofreader was out on holiday. And worst of all, for crying out loud, it has 2 pages of the story that are missing in the actual book, which are included as a loose sheet printed out accompanied with a note, which, as far as I'm concerned, means, sorry, we were too cheap to bring an extra $50 to have a preview printing sent to us for review before we went to the full print run. So we missed all these mistakes. So here's the extra 2 pages because we aren't going to pay to reprint it correctly. Rather aggravating, to say the least. Finally, the contents have been scanned from Comix, not the original artwork, and it looks like the printer was running out of ink with a streaky effect. So to top that off, what they did, couldn't get the book printed in order, get the whole book in order. They didn't do it from the actual original art. Now, because this book is printed on a high-end glossy stock paper versus the original Baxter paper or newsprint that came out in 1989, the colors are not the same level of quality as they should have been. Thus, this is a complete and utter disappointment, and I cannot, in good conscience, recommend this collection. Frank Thorne deserves a proper collection, remastered and recolored by someone who knows what the hell they're doing, and that's not Hermes Press. Now, as far as the story and work by Thorne goes, it's 4 out of 5 to 5-star work. But you wouldn't know it by this half-assed effort by the publisher. I had thought about buying Hermes a collection of Thorne's Land series, but not after seeing this edition. So I'm not really sure what to tell you. I'm very sad and disappointed. And unfortunately, I don't even really want to share the interior art on this book. And ultimately, I kind of have to look at Fantagraphics, who are so much better at collections than Hermes. And they used to publish Thorne. They published Gita. They published Land. They published Ribbit stuff back, years ago. So I kind of asked them why. Why can't you guys do this collection and get it right? Very, very sad. Whoops. Okay, that is pretty much our reviews for what I missed this week. So we're all caught up on reviews for this week. So what did I buy in stores this week? Well, these will be books that I review on Monday, the 8th of February. I got Canto 2, The Hollow Men, number 5. I believe this is the last issue of the arc. Not really sure. But I've been regularly reading this, and it's a good series. Now, we're back over here. We got Chained to the Grave, number 1, from IDW. I'm looking forward to checking this out as well. From Image, I got Deep Beyond, number 1. This is the main cover edition. Science fiction, fun stuff, hopefully. We got Engine Ward, number 7 from Vault Comics by Man and Eisma. And this book feels really, really thin. I don't know. Did they just do a really short issue, or I don't know. I'm going to have to, when I review this, I'm going to talk more about that. Got Far Sector number 10. This is the alternative cover. My retailer thought I would like this cover better than the other cover where she's bound seemingly by yellow, and they were correct on that assessment. So I will look forward to go ahead and finishing this thing up. There's only like 2 more issues after this. It's getting near the end of that run. Got Resonant number 7 from Vault. We just reviewed number 6 this week. So next week we'll be reviewing number 7 back to back. That'll be kind of cool. I finally got my Soul Stream number 1 from Scout Comics this week. This is from their Scoot imprint. And I was supposed to get this like back in December, I believe. So that tells you kind of how crazy that is that I didn't get it. It's by Seda Wolf. And I think that this is a one-shot that's going to be expanded into a graphic novel. So I'll have to check that. I'll have to contact Scout and confirm that before I review it next week. I got Stargazer number 5, and I have not reviewed Stargazer number 4 yet. So those both will be reviewed next week, 4 and 5. There we go, 4 and 5. I also got They Fell from the Sky #1 from Mad Cave. Now, Aftershock had Lonely Receiver #5 in this week, only I thought I already got it when I looked at the cover, because it looks very similar in the color scheme to Lonely Receiver #4, which I have not yet read or reviewed. So next week I will review Lonely Receiver 4 and 5 as well. From Dark Horse and Comixology Originals, I got the treaty collection of Chip Zdarsky's Afterlift. That's a trade paperback. And I had these on hold at the store because for a while. I originally ordered them, and one of them came in back in December, but the second one didn't come in until last week, and I didn't have the money to buy it last week. So this week I got Planet Comics, Volume 1 and 2 from PS Art Books. And these are collections of the old classic golden and early Silver Age stuff. So I'll be reading those and reviewing that next week as well. And finally, if I can lift this crazy thing, we got a hardcover collection from Magnetic Press, Aster of Pan. And that is by, keep saying Merwan, written and illustrated by Merwan. So I thought there was another name on there, but it's just Merwan. So that's who writes and draws that, and hopefully I will get all this read for next week. It's quite a haul, a very expensive week, $128.02. So yeah, I'm quite the expensive week this week. So I'm looking in my comments. I haven't seen any comments made, so I don't know. The Wednesday show is always kind of hit and miss with whether or not I get guests. A lot of my people who like to watch a show go to church on Wednesdays, so they might be at church. So they aren't here live to tell me what they got for comics. But if you're watching on Facebook, perchance, go ahead and let me know what you got for this week in comics. And in the meantime, I will sit up and let you guys know what is coming up for the rest of the week. We got quite a week ahead of us. We have Thursday Night Roundtable tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week's guest is Michael Pennick, who is the creator, co-writer, and artist of the series Recovery Incorporated, which is about a character named Mia Raven, who is a thief who becomes a detective, who turns around and becomes a thief again because it's more profitable to be a thief than it is a detective. That ought to be interesting to talk with Michael about that. And then on Friday, I will be doing my regular Friday night TV and film discussion. My guest host this week will be Jason McNamara, who's been a guest on our show before. He is the creator of Nocturnal Commission's Ghost Band, which we're going to be talking about an update on his Kickstarter for that, and also his new Kickstarter for a new Middle Readers prose book as well. And we'll be reviewing the New Mutants DVD, at least I will be, and also Watchmen from HBO Max, the DVD set on that, as well as some of our other favorite obscure science fiction movies and TV shows. And that will be on Friday. Still got quite a bit of stuff. Oh, someone has asked me a question. They want to know why I didn't talk about heavy metal. Because Heavy Metal 303 was supposed to get reviewed this week. I didn't get it read fully. But what I have read, and I'm probably not going to review it, it's good stuff. I've been giving it, I started reading Heavy Metal again at number 300. It's been consistent in the 3.5 to 4.5 range on the stars. So it's still solid stuff over there. I just haven't had time to finish up reading that one, and I just don't think I'm going to finish up and do a review on that one, given the stack of books I need to get for next week. Another question was, me? Okay, okay. Am I going to do live draws this year? Because I haven't done that many live draw episodes. Yes, I am. I just haven't been comfortable to do one lately. I'm trying to get something ready for stuff that's my own characters rather than doing the mainstream stuff, or to have a live draw where we have several artists on at the same time and we're all drawing each other's characters. And I haven't been able to get that set up. So as soon as one of those Saturdays or Sundays comes open for people, it probably won't happen until after the Super Bowl, but we'll see. Okay. And we still haven't heard anything back from anybody. So I want to thank those who popped in and watched for a few minutes here and there. And we will see you guys soon. If you want to reach me and ask questions or comment on the show, you reach me at Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, on Twitter at LewisBrightRave2, at DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven, on YouTube at Quoth the Raven Lewis Brightraven, at Gmail at QuothTheRavenLBR72 at gmail.com, and on Yahoo at LewisBrightRaven at yahoo.com. I prefer the Gmail for the show, but if you can't reach me there, try the Yahoo. Mondays, we usually have our comics news and reviews. Wednesdays, we have What You Get this week. Thursdays is our roundtable talk discussion. Again, this week's guest will be Michael Pennick, and we'll be talking about his series, Recovery Incorporated. Friday is our genre night. Usually it's supposed to be each week a different genre, but so far we've had enough content to go 2 weeks per genre. And this week will be science fiction again, and my guest this week will be creator Jason McNamara. And that's all for this week. So I'll see you guys on tomorrow with Michael Pennick. Have a good night and enjoy more comics.